Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to another season of Jacob Walks Over a Bridge. I'm Jacob, currently walking over a bridge, and this is season 4. Wow. If this were a true Star Trek series, this would be the halfway point, so to speak, but I think this is it. This is the last season. I can go into details about that either today or in a later episode. I don't know. I just wing it. But I'm walking over the Manhattan Bridge this afternoon. It's early afternoon now. Maybe I would have started in the morning if right after I left my apartment to take this walk to the bridge, for the second time this month, I had a bird poop on me. Not ideal to start a long walk. So I turned around, cleaned up a bit, came back. Who could forget the subway? I might have done the Brooklyn Bridge if I hadn't been so afraid of all the tourists that are probably on there. It's a nice day, relatively speaking, on a weekend, the end of a lot of kids' spring break. I'd rather deal with the subway going by like this than trying to meander my way through a whole lot of tourists. Well, isn't that better? But the surprising thing about the walk over here is that I did not play a single minute of Pokémon Go. Now, one of the reasons I started this podcast was because when I was walking to work over the Queensboro Bridge, I was still playing Pokemon Go at the time, and there really just wasn't much to do in the game when you're walking over a bridge. They don't have a lot of Pokemon spawn over water, so it really wasn't much. It wasn't worth that. Trucking's hard. It really wasn't much worth depleting the battery walking over a bridge. You get the kilometers counted that you walk, but aside from that, there's really not that much. So that's why I started doing this, but I've been playing Pokemon Go pretty regularly since, I want to say, I started when everyone else started, July 2016, our last moment of innocence as a people. Really growing up in the post 9/11 world, didn't really get a good feel for what life was like when you could just walk up to any gate at the airport willy-nilly. But now, after 2016, obviously we know what happened, but playing Pokemon Go for that first month was exciting. Everyone was doing it. You'd see on the news, you had a lot of people, let's say, I think I saw a video retrend recently of in 2016 when a mob of people were running in a park because someone had announced that they had found a Snorlax. And that was a big deal. Those weren't just spawning anywhere. So everyone was just rushing to run, go get. I remember watching another video in 2016 on the news at the time when I think it was Vaporeon. Someone found one in the park and everyone was running to go catch it. So that was an exciting time to be playing it. But after a month, I gave it up because I don't know. I guess I just wasn't feeling it. This game was buggy. Wasn't walking that much, and just didn't seem worth it. But cut to 2017, February 2017 was when I really doubled down. It was when they released more. The second gen was introduced into the game, and that just made it a little more fun, and there's more to do, and I was walking a lot more, and it just all made sense. But yeah, I've been playing steadily since then, and really to go anywhere was to play Pokemon Go, unless I was walking with someone or didn't want to seemed like I was being obtrusive playing a game while walking with someone, I kept it off. But generally, especially walking by myself, and I had the battery life to spare, walking somewhere and doing that was playing Pokemon Go. And even traveling abroad. One of the reasons to go travel abroad was to go catch Pokemon that didn't spawn naturally in America. In the Americas, so to speak. So the game has been an important part of at least, my daily life. And now I've taken it maybe one step forward. And the good friend of the pod, Jared, who, if you can recall, we spent a nice chat together on the Shea Bridge at Citi Field. I believe that was last season. He and I have engaged in a quote-unquote speed run of the game, where we've both created new accounts and have tried to reach the original end goal of the game, which is level 40. Every action in the game you get experience points, and with enough experience points you level up, and then you get to level 40, and that was originally the highest level before a year or two ago they upped the cap to level 50. But part of me is wondering if this is either a nice diversion, a way to reinvigorate my interest in the game, or if it's the end game. Because for many years now, majority of the creatures in the game are ones I'm not familiar with, or at least we're not familiar with from playing the mainline games on Game Boy. Really, I just played on Game Boy. I never had a DS to play any of the new games. I bought a DS off of Craigslist my freshman year of college just because I wanted to play the remake of the second generation game, Heart Gold, or I have Soul Silver. I have Soul Silver. I had to think about it. I haven't played it in a while. But for a long time, the creatures I had not been familiar with, and Jared's even refused to catch anything past Gen 4 when he stopped playing. But here we are, speed racing in the game, and up to this point, it's been interesting catching things I'd never seen before, and I have other acquaintances who play the game, and it's nice to be able to do it together, especially these days. But now you have to wonder, okay, because doing this has changed the way I play, so to speak. Like, I haven't played right now because I'm saving battery life for an event that's happening in a couple hours. I'd want to take advantage of it for as long as possible. I've walked over 4 miles now and haven't played a lick. It'll be interesting to see if it goes the way of Foursquare. Obviously Foursquare's demise, much different story, where that one was a service that I used to the very end to check into places. I don't really recognize what the new Foursquare is, or its offshoot Swarm. I think that's what it was called. I had no interest in it. Foursquare was a darling of an app. It was fun to check in places. It was a nice little record of where I've been, where I was in life from 2012 to 2014. And that was another one where you get points. Being the mayor of a place was cool. But for a long time, going anywhere, I checked in. And that one was even if it was with other people. As soon as I'd get someplace new, like let's say the last place I checked in, I was at Yankee Stadium with my internship. I was at the Game Show Network, and they got tickets to take out some clients. But we went to Yankee Stadium, and I remember checking in there, and we already know by summer of 2014, so Foursquare had made no secret that it was moonlighting its original services, at least in the Foursquare app. I remember I checked into Yankee Stadium, and then I remember I got to the train station by Yankee Stadium and tried to check in there on my way back home, and I was unable to because the check-ins had been disabled in Foursquare. And that was a shock, because for the longest time, going anywhere was tied to using the Foursquare app. So obviously I got over it quickly enough, but it was a little weird at first not checking in places as soon as you got there, anytime you went anywhere. So now I wonder if with this game, Pokemon Go, if let's say after the speed run, we started it in I guess the last day of February. So, beginning of March we're going to play till the beginning of July is when we set the deadline, the official release date. The birthday of Pokemon Go, I think it was July 6th. I don't know if neither of us are going to get there. It's looking a little unlikely given our current trajectory with experience points and how many you need. I think I'm about a quarter of the way through and maybe a third of the way through I'm a quarter of the way there points-wise, but I think we're over a quarter of the way through the speed run, so maybe cutting it close. May have to pull out some other tricks like I'm going to be doing today, but it's going to be a struggle. But let's say, for instance, I finish with this new account, and then I'm like, okay, I can go back to my old account. The game's not going to be the same, because the fun part about this was being able to catch everything again for the first time, because there's very little new to do when you've already done everything, except, as soon as they release something new, you just pounce on it. Now, with the new account, I've been able to do everything again for the first time. So that's been fun. I get those bonuses for the first time, and now that I'm a veteran of the game, I know how to game the system. So that's been nice to be able to do that. But now, after July 6th, I still really want to play. And I'm sure some of my other acquaintances who still play, who are not participating in this event, would like it if I stayed active. And I don't know if I'll give it up right away. I've even caught some things and made a little note to myself, I'll keep this for my main account, I'll trade it over. So there's still a little bit of me that believes there's some future in the old account and playing it the old way. But then there's a part of me that just wonders if, that will be short-lived, and playing the old account may not live up to playing the new account. And once the speed run's over, the appeal of the new account will drop dramatically. So will Pokemon Go the way of Foursquare? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've got a few more months to experience. I don't have to figure it out. It's just going to happen. So we'll see. Wait and see. It's nice to be out here again. I think I did the little teaser episode. I got a trailer. I don't know if I could really call it a trailer, because it was like a mini episode. It wasn't really... I don't know if... and I know I teased some other things that I may or may not follow through with. I know I was talking about doing some musical episodes, but at least one or two of the folks who I had planned to maybe invite on to do some stuff may not make it. So I can encourage you to, buy from your local indie bands, but I don't know if I'm going to have any on featuring music. Or what I really wanted to do was to try to get oh wow. I'm walking past the street where everyone loves to take their picture right in front of the Manhattan Bridge, and there's so many people just posing, lying on the floor, just hanging out. Bunch of posers. But I don't know if I'm gonna... I definitely know I'm gonna have more locations than just the New York tri-state area. I know for a fact that my next episode is going to be quite the experience. But lots changed in that 1 month. Well, it was a little more than a month, but life changed. I'm single again, so that's the thing. I feel like dating someone who was also active like me and lived in another borough meant that I was able to. I hopped over the Queensboro Bridge my fair share of times. So this is my first bridge walk, really, since that little teaser when I went to the Bronx. I haven't been to the Bronx since, other than passing through on Metro North. I will say that the subways have been not so bad on this bridge as they have been in the past. I did actually, so I tried after the breakup to jump right back into things, and I actually had a first date maybe a week or two after everything went down, and it was well enough. It was a fun date. We met for pizza in Little Italy and then just walked around, and she lives in Brooklyn. I was like, you want to just walk over the bridge? So it's just, sure. So I guess I lied. My second bridge walk since the breakup, the first one was there that one day where we walked over the Manhattan Bridge to Brooklyn, and I feel like the trains were way worse, at least, when you're trying to have a conversation with someone where you can't just lift the mic really close to your mouth and whisper like I can, with this. It's a little more difficult. Excuse me. No, I'm yawning. I had some weird dreams last night where I was riding shotgun with Taylor Swift and we were driving somewhere in like a little coupe with the roof down. I don't know, it was weird. A bunch of weird dreams. Though, I guess if you're listening to this and you are of the musical persuasion, why not try to think of a catchy jingle for Jacob Walks Over a Bridge? Because I might just start one episode singing and come up with something, and then you'll lose your chance to come up with it. Because then I'm just going to make that really bad intro my new intro. No more good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It's just going to be Jacob walks over a bridge. Something like that. And I think for everyone's sake, we don't want to hear that every time I open an episode. No one wants that. Now, is it still weird that I play Pokemon Go? I mean, I shouldn't care what society thinks of the hobbies that I enjoy. No one should feel that. But, it was cool in 2016. Playing 6 years, 7 years, whatever, however, that's 6 years later. And some of the dating apps now have prompts where you can answer questions, and one of the prompts is what's an overshare, or what's something embarrassing that you could share, or something like that, or something private, the most private thing you're willing to admit. And I've wavered between playing Pokemon Go. I've also thought about, I still listen to my, I guess now, 14-year-old MP3 player. Also, I think what I have now for the majority, if it has that prompt, I think I say that Bing is my default search engine by choice. And that's because they pay me. Bing gives you points for every search you do, and then you can redeem them for gift cards. So once a month I get an Amazon gift card. This was not a paid sponsorship from Microsoft. I guess that's another reason why I'm thinking of dropping the podcast after this season. It was fun for the first couple, but I don't know if the motivation to do this is still as strong as it once was. It never took off. I mean, I have people I know who listen, who care. I appreciate you if you're listening. I think you have exquisite taste, and I'm glad that I'm able to lodge your eardrums for the duration of whatever episode you're listening to. But never got that Blue Apron sponsorship that I equated with making it in the podcast world. If COVID hadn't happened, I don't know if I would have done just two seasons, or if I would have really gone all out and traveled the world to try to cross all the bridges and really made a name for myself that way. But how'd that happen? Oh, wow. So that's maybe near the end of the bridge, maybe like 20 feet up in the air. And along the streetlight, which I imagine is a fishing wire, which it's a Jewish thing, if I had to guess. It has to do with what you can and carry on Shabbos. But someone had picked up poop from their dog and decided that they were just going to throw the poop up, and somehow it landed over the fishing wire, and now it's just hanging from there. Huh. People cease to amaze me what they're able to do. But enough of all that dark and gloomy stuff about not feeling the love like I used to when walking over bridges, and not feeling the motivation to go out there anymore. Not depressed. Just, this was a fun thing to do for a little while, but it might be time for something new. And on that note, as I said, I am nearing the end. So I will let you go. It's been an honor and a privilege, as always, and I look forward to talking to you throughout this year. Hopefully I'll avoid any mishaps and other sort of incidents that keep me from walking and talking. So I'll leave it at that. Good day and good night.